Dead by Daylight is a game dominated by creators, with content spanning across many different platforms. So I thought, why not take the two biggest platforms and put them head to head in a one-off tourney, 5 Twitch streamers, 5 YouTubers, let's see who's the best. Welcome in one and all, I am Stumpy and I'm here to bring you the first of many videos in 2026. I'm trying to go bigger and better this year, and what a way we have to start. I've got 5 brilliant Twitch streamers that are going to face off against 5 amazing YouTubers, and we're going to see which platform really has the best of the best. We've got 3 fun sets for you today. First, we'll be starting with Demogorgon on Wrecker's Yard. Then we'll follow that up with the Onryo on Midwich. And finally, if it's needed, our tiebreaker is the Trapper on Dead Dog Saloon. Something really fun about this little mini tourney is that the killer pool was made up of our content creators' mains, meaning we've ended up with 2 demo mains facing off, 2 Onryo mains against each other, and 2 very competent trappers coming in for the tiebreaker as well. But without further ado, I've held you for long enough. I'm going to put you into the first game. It's the YouTube Killer versus the Twitch Survivors. I hope you enjoy. Lastly, just let me hop in and say we are going to be scoring this in a different way from you might have seen before. We're going to be scoring it by generators first. So whatever team completes the most generators wins. If they're the same, we move to hooks. Number of hooks, flat out of 12. Whoever has the most hooks wins, and say those are the same, we'll be going to fresh hooks. Of course, there can only be 4 fresh hooks because there's only 4 survivors. Those are our 3 win conditions in descending order. They're shown on the scoreboard like this, and I hope they're easy to keep track of for you guys. Now let's get into the first game. In we go. Game number 1 sees the Team YouTube Survivors versus the Team Twitch, the Team Twitch Killer versus the Team YouTube Survivors. On Killer for Team YouTube is King Steve, or Steve the Hare Harrington as he's called himself in game. He seems to have spotted one of the survivors early and is looking to get chased immediately. On Rebel Morel gets a nice hit with his power. Morel gonna go edge map. Yeti coming in for the tank if he can. Try to take a hit. Ooh, Steve just whiffs on the M1. We did see Morel leave the loop, but Yeti is determined to take chase here. Gets a nice stun, but Enduring comes in well for Steve. Quickly gets rid of that pallet and straight back into the chase. Both teams, interestingly enough, have got a demo main as well as an Onryo main. That's a clear hit from King Steve onto our Renato HD Luke. Remember, you can check out everybody involved in this whole thing. They'll all be in the descriptions, all their links, all their names, in case you have a favorite that's good from Sadako to avoid that. But Steve will not be denied. He's dying to get that hit. Double hit very quickly. And that shows how good Demo Shred can be. Now he's looking for a hook nearby. No pain res or anything to look for. He's opted against that. He's decided to go for Pop Goes the Weasel. We did have a bit of balancing for each of these killers so that none were too overpowered, but I think on Demo there's a fair bit you're allowed. Now he knows there's gem progress over here, but Pop will deal with that right now. The unhook comes in. Is that a bit of a bug? As we can hear him going round, it might be. We've got 2 survivors resetting, 1 generator got done. Steve is back on the move. It's the stun from Luke, but refuses to break the pallet. Enduring, he's hoping we'll get him there. Yeti coming in for the save once again. Was that a pebble? I think it might have been. Steve fully focused though on getting the Renato down, getting a second hook. Remember, our win condition is generators first, then fresh hook, or then hooks, then fresh hooks. So every fresh hook is a good thing, and he'll be hoping to get one here, which he does, unless the survivors can pull off a madness. They don't seem to be able to, though. They're doubling a gen right beside it, which might be too smart. He does get the hit. The crouch attack was tried by Sadako there, but just couldn't get it off. Steve trying to win the mind game on this tile. Oh, good though from Sadako to avoid it. with Demo Shred on how well Steve is using it, it can be tough. Got the hits out of it down underneath the pallet, but the scratch marks tell Steve that someone else is nearby. And he does not want to give them the pallet save for free, so he's going to injure Renato, go back for the pickup. They are still going to try it though. It's just slightly early from Yeti, and he's going to pick up a hit for that as well. We're going to get our second hook stage onto Sadako, and probably now Steve looking at that as maybe his tunnel out to get the pressure on here, because they have 2 generators done. They're doing really well on gens right now. We check around, 2 of them are resetting. Another one is injured in the area, and obviously Sadako's on hook. Steve is stood still for now, which is giving our survivors a bit of time to get round and maybe get the unhook. He's back on the move. Nope. I think we're having just a bit of a spectator bug, so we'll watch the survivors for now. We're gonna bounce around and see who can pick up the killer here. He seems to have popped that generator, going back to the hook now. We have Sadako running for dear life, does not want to be tunneled out because a 3v1 can be absolutely dire for the survivors. That's a big hit from Vented Yeti. And now we're back on Steve. It is working again. Not sure what's up with that spectator bug, but there's a great body block from Yeti, but it only delays the inevitable as Steve eventually gets the pickup. Tries to fake the pickup actually to deny the flashlight save, and they will not get the flashlight save this time. Yeti maybe gonna try and take a hit. No, just gonna leave and go straight back to Shaq. We got his 1 survivor down and out. That makes things a whole lot easier for our killer. 3v1 is a lot tougher than 4, obviously, because if somebody's on hook, you have to have someone going in to save as well as another person taking chase, meaning generators are a lot harder to get complete. Morel's going to take a hit. We've got 2 survivors injured here, which is really good. We do see that Yeti is on a gen, thanks to the HUD. It's a tough pile to mind game. Steve might just have to eat the pallet here, but he's chasing around this way to maybe zone our survivor. Great body block from Luke coming in, taking the hit from Morel, and now she's heading back up there again. She might go down this time. No, the 2 of them have avoided it. She's throw a pallet this time, and that leaves her the inside of the map. But Steve's gonna go for a mental shot and just misses out. As you can tell, a very experienced demo main. We've got 1 on each side, as I said before, so it leaves for some great players. The down comes in, he can hear the progress on Shaq, and will want to pop that most likely when he gets this hook. As for the rest of them, we've got Yeti on that gen. We have Luke starting another one, and Steve again, as I said, going in with the pop. But look at the perks that he has in the bottom right. He's got 3 stacks and no way out, so he's sitting pretty even if they get to endgame. Although I'm sure he'll want to have them dead before that. It's a nice little run round Shaq to come back and deny the easy on hook. And this is exactly what we were talking about when it comes to a 3v1. Because now Yeti's going to be forced to leave his gen to go for the on hook, which he has done. Luke doing well on this tile. There's not too much left on this side of the map, though. They did shred through a few pallets there earlier with a few early chases. Firecracker does make Steve look away and buys Luke some time. He's hugging that rock very tightly, going out to edge map to die in the corner if he can. But Steve will not be denied. Gets the down. And these other 2 are just pushing that generator by the looks of things. Demo gets another hook, another fresh, nope, another second hook. So we might be thinking about another kill very soon. Yeti gonna drop that, but the shred comes through. Will he make the window here? No, he doesn't. He just gets caught in his way through. And now our demo is probably thinking of slugging and just putting pressure, which he is doing. Luke gonna body block very nicely, but Burrell might still get caught out here. She does. And this should be a 4K2. As long as Steve can find... No, Steve's gonna lift. Decides against slugging for the 4K to see this game out now. And is instead gonna let them continue. As for Luke, he's trying to make his way back to Yeti to pick up here. Gets him up just in time as Steve comes around the corner, spots the two of them. Who will he decide to pick? He's looking towards Yeti for fear that he might go back for the unhook. Remember, Shaq is the strongest tile for any survivor, so leaving it mightn't be advised. Down goes Yeti. Steve gonna leave him on the floor? Nope, he's decided against that. He's gonna pick him instead. Does, however, see Luke and knows that the unhook is gonna come through. The survivors really tried hard to get those gens out. Got 3 of them fairly quick, but Steve has kept the pressure on since then. HD Luke heading into the corner. This is a second kill for Steve if he can get it. He does a very wide swing but comes through with the down. This will be 2 dead with 2 gens remaining, and it's very hard to see the last 2 survivors getting a gen done. His chase has been very impressive so far, Steve. Not too many chases have lasted a long time, and he'll hope to keep that up here. Obviously, they've reset one of the survivors, so maybe the call is to get them both back injured. We're all going to drop that. Doesn't decide to mind game it, decides to OW away from it instead. And now we'll look for a new tile. Short work of that chase again. He's been very good on the chase today, and remember, because there's 2 gens left, even if Yeti does manage to get Hatch, it's still gonna count as a 4K2. That's the win condition we have here. Now we see the scratch marks and we know Yeti must be waiting around for Hatch, but Steve is also waiting for it. Does not want to give it up for free. Closes it instantly and instead sees Yeti in the distance. That will be the result decided of this match, but let's see if Yeti can give him a bit of a chase for a bit of fun at the end. He's cutting through the window, seems to have confused Yeti a bit. And he does get that down. Really quick chases from our demo. Will we see the same in the second match when Team Twitch's demo is in on it? We'll have to wait and see. Game number 2 on the demo. We have Grim Rival, another demo main, ready to go against the YouTube survivors. We do know the win condition. If the survivors can get 4 gens done, then it will be a win. If they get 3 done and all die, it'll be a tie and we'll move on to the next set. And if Grim can get them all dead with just 2 gens completed, then we will be going on with a win for Team Twitch. Checking the locker there. Grim, but good stealth from the survivor. We can see the scratch marks as they make their way around. He has found Tam. Does get an early hit. And Tam now just trying to get a bit of distance. Trying to play it very smart. Just take the killer away for as long as possible. Drops that pallet and the shred comes through. Here comes a second. Nope. The fake shred gets the down nice and early for Grim Rival. Pickup comes through and we can see 2 different generators there with progress from both Polzer and Annie, or it could be doubled, we're not too sure. Grim was thinking about putting down the portal but decided against it. We've got a bit of a different build. We've got Ruin in play as well as Eruption. Eruption probably on for if we see the cleansing of Ruin come through. He was thinking about a bit of a wild shot over the top of that hill, but decides against it. Instead now decides to use Bamboozle, and Annie caught in the open here will take a hit, gets the stun straight after. Shred comes through to break that pallet, and we see a second generator with a good bit of progress. They were on 2 separate gens. Annie now might go down quickly here. And does. Grim thinking about slugging, decides against it and lifts facing the rock to deny a flashlight save. Here we can see Colzer still working away on that gen. Ruin doing bits here for him. Ruin, very good perk on demo if you can keep it up for a while. Obviously, he does have eruption if he can, so he's not too stressed about that. Loses track of Colzer completely after that blind, but picks her up again quite quick. And she has got the distance, gonna make it to this loop where we know the pallet is still standing. The first generator comes through, and now he's thinking of going back or maybe even checking his ruin totem. He does have a good line of sight here of the map to see if someone sneaks around for the unhook. Gonna stand up on the hill and make sure no one's around. Here's the injured signs of a Sable. Manages to dodge the firecracker, but does get it down on Tam. Now this will be Tam's second hook, and probably now looking at her as a tunnel out target. When she gets unhooked, don't be surprised if he goes straight back and tries to take her out of the game. Remember, they will need to get 2 more generators done to hit the tie condition. Colzer takes a hit off Grim there and runs towards a loop where the pallet is already gone. The shred comes in, that's well avoided by our survivor. Colzer will be hoping for a good long chase here, give them time to get Tam off the hook and maybe reset. Grim takes the shred. Colzer gets the pallet dropped in time. The break comes through, and remember, we know there's no pallet on this loop either. It was dropped earlier in the game, but she does make it to boss. Can she make it around without getting hit? She can. Spends the pallet, but lives for a little while longer. This is a good chase from Colzer, but not much in the way of protection now. New fake shots from Grim, and he gets the down. That's his 3rd fresh hook. Remember, it doesn't really matter about fresh hook, seeing as it was a 4K in the last game, but it's always good to get someone new on the hook. Frenchie's working on a gen, and Tam has been unhooked and reset. He's going to head back to where he knows Annie was working on a gem before. She has been hooked once. Nope, nobody here. Instead, going to put down a portal for later use. Just going to check around. But I don't think there was any survivors in this area. Knows the Colzer's back there. Andy has a portal he can go to. Heads straight back and sees the scratch marks. Now he's trying to find these 2 survivors. He knows one of them is injured and might look for the hit on them. Survivors doing the right thing to just hold W as far there as they can. Frenchie comes through and takes a hit, takes the chase, and heads back into what is a very dead area in this map. Grim blocks off that window, but Frenchie, no interest in playing the loop, decides to just get as much distance as possible. Might face the down here though. Grim gets caught just on the edge of the pile, but gets the shred off anyway. It's his 4th fresh hook. The 2nd generator comes in. He does look at basement there, but decides against it. And maybe now has a bit to travel for the next hook. But a healthy survivor come in here and make him regret this decision. He has managed to wiggle off Frenchie. Boil over coming in clutch. Grim did actually have a hook right beside where he picked up there, but thanks to Boil over, could not see it. And now we have chase coming back on to Colzer. Colzer with a very good chase in the first bit, and has done well again to dodge that shred. Playing the short loop very well. Dodges once again. Decides not to drop the pallet. Greedy plays from Colzer, and it's gonna cost her. She does go down eventually, but wasted a good bit of his time for that one. We'll check on the other survivors. We have Frenchie on a gen. We have Annie on a gen, and Tam on the same gen. It's Frenchie. Getting that one doubled and getting your tie condition could be massive for the survivors here. But Grim has good pressure. He started this game very brightly. You can see the progress on this. Can't kick it because Ruin is still up. The survivors seem to be deciding to play through Ruin. Leave it up. Don't worry about it because he could have something worse hiding behind it. This generator has a fair bit of progress, but is in a fairly dead zone. We see 1 pallet on the edge map. But aside from that, there's not much to work with here. Grim 9 knows they're nearby, trying to figure out just where they are. Does see the unhook come through. On is maybe now thinking, okay, I've got 1 gen till tie condition. I need the tunnel out. The reset is happening on hook, and does happen. Grim just missing on the shred. Tries to go out this way, but the 2 survivors have went the other road. Annie trying to take chase for Colzer, and she has successfully done so. Grim just missing out in the shred. Annie drops the pallet. Will she play this loop or will she leave? No, she's gonna play it. Grim breaking this pallet. Pushing Annie towards edge map, where she will take a hit and then go back on herself. He has seemed to have lost her. Well, she's went back further into the map. A 3rd gen came through while we were in that chase, and that is the tie condition. If the survivors can get 1 more generator, they will take this set and be carrying a 1-0 lead going into the Onryo one. Grim just missing that shred. Great stun from Annie. But Enduring coming in trumps. Both of our killers deciding to use Enduring, and you can see why it's come in really nicely for both of them in terms of getting a faster down. The 2 of them not really caring too much about... Oh, there's the last generator that they needed, so that will be a win for Team YouTube in the first set. That means they'll be taking a lead into the Onryo set. But yeah, they seem to be taking good chases here. Both killers don't seem to be worrying too much about pallets, is what I was going to say before, because Enduring gives them the chance to get out and get round a loop very quickly. I'm going to break that pallet. Also going to get the blind again. He tries to get the swing through the blind, but just misses it. Colzer looking to take the chase back to Shaq. Shaq pallet is still up, so it is at its stronger at the minute. He has that there and pushes Colzer through. Shaq going to bamboozle the window. Going to double back as well, try and catch her out. But Colzer, a very experienced survivor, knows exactly what the plan was there. Manages to get the stun on the blind, and that will waste yet more of Grim's time. Colzer doing really well in chase right now. Definitely the MVP as far as Team YouTube are concerned. She does manage to make the window as well, but remember, there's not too much on this side of the map. She is going to go down, and she is going to die as the Team YouTube all reset there. Did have a good bit of pressure on the generator closest to hook, but leaves early to make sure the killer cannot find her. He's gonna search for her anyway. He knows somebody has to have been around here, but instead decides to go back and see what the story is with the other gens. The one at the bottom of that hill still has a bit of progress. Shaq has nothing, so he's gonna tip on back towards this one. We've got Annie just stealthing. Staying very close to this generator, but staying out of sight, and Frenchie just walking along, making sure he doesn't get seen either. The 2 of them can double this now as Grim heads back. He does have a tight little 3-gen here, but well, tight enough little 3-gen. It's not the best one, but it's not too bad, especially for a killer like Demo who can get around quickly. Frenchie now trying to take the chase, but Grim doesn't fall for it. Also seeing a Sable in the distance and knows that he can make this a 2v1. Goes to the swing through the pallet, but Tom gets the stun and heads off. I'm taking it just the edge map. There's not too much here, but it wastes a good bit of his time if she dies out there. She's instead going to head back in the map, though, towards this loop. Ruin finally falls. And so does Sable. That is going to be making it a 2v1. We can see there Tam did have Smash It, and that's why she opted for the stun. Does die here as her teammates are doubling this generator. They both get it done, and that is 5 generators done. Can they get any states out the gate? It doesn't mean much in terms of the win. That's already been secured, but just for themselves, for the confidence, getting somebody out the gate could be massive. Annie making her way back towards Shaq here. Deciding she wants to loop it for a bit, but remember, there's no pallet there at the moment. Doing mind games to try and block, or to try and force it through the window, and then blocks it with Bamboozle. Annie just buying Frenchie some time here if he was on a gate, but he hasn't quite made it to the gate yet, so there's still a chance of a 4K. maybe instead gonna take the 3k and go on his way. Yep, he was thinking about basement there and then realized that Annie is dead on hook. Frenchie has the gate well enough progressed that he should make it out here with no problems. You can see the light just out of the corner of Grim's screen there. He knows that it's all over. Oh, it actually wasn't that gate. I'm full of shit. It was the other gate. But yeah, Frenchie makes it out. We finished that game with 9 stages. Alright, ladies and gents, this is Stumpy checking back in once again after our first game. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I know I enjoyed casting it. Obviously, it's 1-0 to Team YouTube right now, meaning Team Twitch needs to win this next set. They've got to win the Onryo set, or it's curtains, it's goodbye, go home, feck off, and Team YouTube will take the crown. But we've got 2 very good Onryos, so it's really hard to call. Will this go to a tiebreaker? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Enjoy. Alright, game number 3. And it is a game very close to my heart. It is Sadako, of course, on mid, which we have Sadako is here on the killer, in case you haven't guessed. They main Wesker. But now they main Sadako, and they're a very good Sadako. We've got 2 Sadako mains coming into play this set, so it'll be very interesting to see how their playstyles differ and how they get on. This one, however, has found a lot of survivors straight off the bat. Gets an early hit onto Frenchie and decides as soon as the TVs are on that they want to go demanifested. Is going to make their way forward to get the down onto Frenchie. Frenchie has the boil over. Annie is sneakily watching from the doorway. And that is a very quick down for Sadako main. Gonna pop Frenchie onto the pain res hook early, which is an interesting choice because I'm not sure they would have had too much gen progress. Let's try and get stacks on people, but they all seem fairly wise to the stacks at the moment. We've got 2 survivors with tapes as well. Sadako main running bloody fingernails and Mother's Comb, 2 really good add-ons, especially in a situation like this. One of them gives you information when a TV's turned off. The other one gives you speed out of the television. We've seen it quite a bit on this channel, so you should know what it does. Gonna go straight back to hook, maybe thinking about the tunnel light straight away. We can hear footsteps coming around the stairs. We spot Angel Girl Cam. Sadako will get a hit on, and now we'll try to force the chase on her. She pops in through a window, maybe not the best place to loop. It can be a tough place to get round. Stand by this window. Does take a down, and that is 2 downs very quickly for our killer. No pain res in sight now. Is instead gonna stare at that generator, get the hook on a normal hook, and keeps the 3 stacks of pain res for later. Probably smart to do with that generator just popping, as I'd imagine the speed that it went up at. Will not be expecting too much progress on other generators, and on hook comes through down below. But Sadako instead deciding to go elsewhere. Spots the scratch marks, realizes they were going the wrong way, and quickly doubles back. Nobody at that television, but does see Annie. Also sees a gen getting turned off towards the middle. Good condemn pressure here from our Onryo man. Again spotting Annie and getting a stack on her. Could we see a red ring of condemn very soon? Annie has run towards her and will take the hit here, surely. Does indeed. Goes back and tries to confuse the killer, but they're having none of it. Let's keep up good pressure. Still demanifested, so that stun will not come through. Breaks the pallet. And gets stunned again. Annie throwing a lot of pallets here, though, for a very early chase. Thought we're gonna leave her and see if we can put pressure on somebody else. Heads back this way, though. Finds Annie once again, who does have the med kit and was trying to heal up. Does get forced off the heal, though. Did see Steve around. Does not want to give up the flashlight save. Palace stun comes through. Will the CJ come through? No, it won't. We're going to see more pressure. Nope, we're going to see a pickup straight onto Annie. And a third fresh hook for our killer. Now the rest of our survivors are on generators by the looks of things. Steve, however we knew, was in close. He's going to try and pressure the on-hook. Sadago is zipping around. We've got a bit of a killer bug just at the moment. We'll keep an eye on our survivors, see if we can pick up the chase. Annie is getting stacks upon stacks here. That's the thing they'll be worried about. She's getting very close to that condemned status. Can hear the killer nearby. The hit does come in on Steve. See if we can get things from our killer's perspective. The firecracker comes through. Good blind there from Steve. He is going to drop that. Doesn't get the stun because of the demanifest, but does put something between himself and our killer. And the flashlight comes through. Must have actually been, it was flashbang on Steve. Not the firecracker. The firecracker is still in play. Annie has one stack away from a kill here. There we are. There's the red ringer condemned. Thought I'd go with a hit on her immediately. He has lost 3 generators for this, but a kill here would make all the difference. Tam desperately trying to take a bit of the pressure for Annie, and does body block very well to let Annie get away. However, she doesn't have a tape, and that could be a big worry. In fact, it's gonna be a massive worry because the kill's gonna come through here. Steve gets his off in the background. And that is 1 kill with 2 gens remaining for Sadako. We have got a slug Sable over here that he can go back and hook as well. Remember, he'll be thinking about those pain res hooks. We've only used a stack on Frenchie so far. There's a gen right beside him with a decent bit of progress. Pop her up there and immediately look to this gen over here, which did not get hit by pain res. So there's one further on, and that's what Sadako will be trying to find. Sees the scratch marks leading away from this generator, doesn't have a TV to teleport to. Sees the blood pools of an injured survivor, instead decides to go back to hook. 3v1 here. The survivors will be aiming to get another generator done if they can. They might let Tam hang for a while in order to get a bit of pressure on gens, because that's what they need more than anything right now. No, they've come in for the unhook straight away. It is Frenchie with the unhook. Frenchie will take a hit for his troubles and brings the Sadako over into this other room where there is a TV waiting. And we do get a teleport to it. We do get a stack of condemn. And we will get it down thanks to bloody fingernails. Quick check on everyone. Tam and Steve are healing. Sadako again, gonna get the hook. Coil over, does not stop that. Does see a TV go off over here, and we know that both of our survivors are in this area, including the injured angel girl Tam. Steve has been spotted hopping into a locker, and now both survivors are injured. Tam now in a whole world of trouble. And that should be the second death on this team. And on we go. Now, that's a 2v1. It would be very difficult for our survivors to get another gen done. Off goes the TV. Through comes the on-hook. And now, Sadako will know that Steve is nearby and wants to press that chase instead of going for Frenchie again. Quick teleport to keep the condemned pressure high. That's something that they've done really well so far. Does spot Frenchie again. Knows that the endurance will have run out. Frenchie with a wee tea bag after getting the stun. But he could be in trouble now. He is in trouble now. Goes down. Sadako slugging for the 4K. Remember, if they did hook Frenchie, it would lock in the hatch coming out, and the hatch escape would not count unless 5 gens are done. So they would be locking in a 4K as long as they got the hatch closed or Steve escaped through it. We are seeing a red ring of condemn. Could this be a second condemn of the game? Steve was trying to greed that generator just to get a fourth one done because it could make all the difference for the YouTube killer. Frenchie is back on his feet, but will eat the floor once again. Steve probably trying to make his way back to that generator, I would guess. Try and get it done. Try and make the win condition a bit tougher. But it might not be possible. Sadako is putting the pressure on something serious here. There is Steve caught out by the teleport. And it's going to be a down. No, it's going to be a stun. Great stun by Steve and gets himself some distance. Throws the God pallet early, which is a good call. Means they can get away, get a bit of distance, get out of Sadako's eye line. So the scratch marks are very telling. They give him away ever so slightly. Knows the Frenchie is in this room and might try for the pickup again. Nope, decides against it. And now there's no pallet to play here, so Steve is going to jump into the locker. Could waste a little bit more Sadako's time, but Sadako can just drop and condemn, and that's exactly what they will do. Instead, searching for Frenchie here. And does find him. Gets the pickup on our boilover survivor. Knows there's a hook downstairs. And this will be a 4K2 for Sadako main and for Team Twitch. You can hear Steve in the distance who has crawled off, or maybe he can't. But either way, it won't make a difference at this stage. Alright, post-game Stumpy here. This would waste so much time if we just sat and watched Steve bleed out, which he does eventually. So I'm going to 2x speed this little bit, and we're going to flick on to the YouTube Onryo game. Hope that's alright with you guys. Let's get into it. Back once again for another Onryo set. We have Colzer on the Onryo. We have Yeti, Grim Rival, Rebel Morale, and HD Luke on the Survivor. 4K2 to try and beat. Colzer has managed to find Luke straight away. It's a good pallet break. And has him zoned, should get the hit here, no bother. Going straight to another pallet, not a bad idea. Does vault back and wins the 50. Colzer has her TVs on, but will she choose to teleport? She will. Teleports immediately, trying to get a bit of pressure on, trying to get that bloody fingernails value. And does get it, gets the hit onto Luke. The other three survivors, no doubt, pumping gens at the minute, so it'll be interesting to see if she decides to spread pressure or sees this one out. Gonna teleport outside. Maybe now looking to spread some pressure. Knows they won't be in the corrupted area, but sees a TV off over here. And here's progress on this generator. Grim Rival gonna take chase next. Gets caught in between the break, and this should give Colzer a good chance to get the hit. Makes it to this pallet, however, greeds it, and good decision to greed it. Makes the window. Colzer now can see a lot of her TVs are being turned off at the moment, but once again finds herself on Grim Rival. Should be able to get the hit this time, and does. Grim refuses to drop the pallet, gonna greed it. I'm gonna try and run this loop. Colzer will want to get these chases over as quick as possible or spread the pressure. Just keep them off generators would be her main aim here. That's exactly what she's doing. She's teleporting around, trying to build stacks as well as keep pressure on chase. Grim now going to be the target for her first down if she can get it to come off. Does manage to confuse him with the invisibility there. Surge comes in on a couple of gens. And she does get a few spies from the shadows. Notifications, knows the survivors are nearby. Chuck Grim up onto that hook and immediately teleport downstairs. Gonna break this door, get it out of the road. Did hear a survivor just to her right. There's a lot of progress on this gem, but she does have Caller Brian. Decides to kick it. Seem to be running around underneath. She's gonna pressure the unhook here, though. Did have a survivor following her up the stairs, but I don't think she realized. She does now. Spots Rebel Morel. And immediately pops the butt pressure back on this unhook again. Morel jumps down and does pick up a hit for it. Also with good pressure right now. Nobody on the unhook. One gen gone, though. She'll want to make sure and get another quick down so that she can keep those gens pressure out. Just misses out on that hit. And now decides to go back upstairs. Here's progress on this gen. Decides to add Paul O'Brien to it. Sees the spies from the shadows. I'm gonna head back downstairs once more. No progress on this gen. Or no more progress on this gen. They haven't stopped it regressing. She'd be very happy about that. Does see another bird move. Knows that they must be outside. We'll pick up a stack of condemn on 2 of our survivors, including Grim Rival, who would be a good tunnel light choice at this time. Should get the hit here easy enough, and does. Grim does a little spin, the Annie spin that we've seen in the demo game and the Onryo game before from Team YouTube. A second gen comes through, and now things are looking troublesome. Boulder gonna use the invisibility mind game, is she? Does decide to try and go for the hit and just misses it. The blind doesn't come through from Grim, however, and Coulter should get this down once she gets upstairs. Surge should hit any gens in the area. There we go. And now she'll get a second hook onto Grim Rival. Knows that he is the flashlight survivor, so doesn't have to worry about that. However, there is a firecracker in place somewhere. Gonna zip across the map, try and get more stacks on them. We'll have to remember that the generators could be pumping away. The outside one definitely has progress. Paul O'Brien should sort that right out, though. I see all 4 survivors are healed up again. They're healing very quickly after the unhook, possibly even healing on the hook. Maybe something to think about in terms of pressure. Again, looks to this gen, knows that it was far on the last time she did. They are seriously on top of these TVs right now, and this is the most frustrating thing as an Onryo. Whenever the survivors are pumping out generators, whenever survivors are turning off TVs and pumping out generators, it can be very hard to keep your pressure up. Buzzer's doing a great job of it so far, though. Manages to catch out Vented Yeti outside. He does have a tape at the moment. Maybe denying that could keep a lot of pressure on him. We do see, though, another TV get turned on. And I think the survivors might just have somebody on the TVs full time. Which is not a bad call, because we can see 2 of them getting done there at once. They are seriously stopping any condemn pressure coming through. And Onryo without condemn pressure can be very tough. Bulger teleports to one of the TVs she can get to. And knows there's another one just in this room beside her. Sees scratch marks and decides to go to it. Good move from Coulter. Gonna chase upstairs. Here's the injured Yeti again. Decides to spread pressure across the map, though, heading to another part of it because she knows these generators are not hanging about. She will make her way outside. We know that Yeti was on this earlier. Morel's on it now. Morel will take a hit. Paul O'Brien gonna do work on this gen now. This is the issue. The survivors are so on top of gens, so on top of TVs, and so on top of healing. Grim trying to hold the pallet that is not there. This is the tunnel out that she'll be wanting, and honestly, if she does tunnel, it could give her serious pressure on the survivors. Does instead see Morel, however. What can she do from here? Does a nice little mind game and gets the down onto Morel. The surge onto a gen. Here's Renato injured nearby, and this could be a second hit The tie condition does come through for the survivors. The grab out of the locker also comes through. And now she needs to make sure they don't get another generator, because that would spell the win condition. It would bring this to a tiebreaker, which is Trapper. Make sure they don't have a strong loop for later. And she's gonna leave a slug by this hook. Teleporting to the TV nearby just to get a stack onto Grim Rival, who immediately gets rid of his red ringer condemn. And then runs into the face of our Onryo. Trapped in a corner. This should be a kill. Remember, if Colzer can stop any more generators from being done, she will get the win. Denies the blind as well. Grim gonna waste a bit more of her time by hopping in a locker. We could hear Survivor nearby, but I don't think they can do much to help. Now you have to get on top of those gens. Get them stopped. We can see a TV off near a generator. That's the one they're probably working on. That one right in front of you. It had some progress earlier. Colzer does hear the progress on it. Does decide to chase Luke. Gets the surge coming in on that gen. That's massive, and will get a hook for it as well. And Luke again has been hooked already, so that could be another potential tunnel out off the hook that would spell trouble for survivors, but would be a seriously good move for Colzer. I think we see Pebble coming in there on the stairs. The unhook comes in too. Did we just see Pebble value from Vented Yeti? Now we know Morel is more than likely on another gen, so you wonder how much time Colzer can commit to this. Before the people comes through, Vented Yeti's gonna go down. And it is another fresh hook. But remember, we need the 4K, and we need it now. Gonna hook up and probably teleport immediately. Try and deny. Oh, that was the one you wanted to get to. She's just unlucky with that. Does know she can come out of here though and pressure 2 gens, but there is the win condition. We are going to tiebreaker. We are going to a Trapper set. Morel gets the generator done. Getting that TV turned off came in clutch. But Colzer will still want the 4K here. Still wants to show what she's made of. And Morel will taste the ground. Yeah, I've got our 4th fresh hook. And we've got really good pressure from Colzer here. Just unlucky that the win condition was so difficult, and these survivors have really been so on top of these gens so far. Again, there's progress on that gem, but it is regressing, which she'll be happy about. She's going to teleport above the unhook to get a stack on each of them. HD Luke now met with a red ring of condemn. Is going to reset regardless. Colzer, instead of teleporting, is just going to run down, try and put pressure on Luke, and see what she can do from there. Sees the scratch marks and just sees the end of a survivor there running up. Gonna follow them up the stairs. It is Renato, it is HD Luke. It's exactly who she wants to be on. And he runs straight through her, but will take a hit. Now Luke could be in trouble. This could be a condemned kill coming through. How will they play this room now? Luke plays it well, gets the 50. He's going to go down here eventually, though. Will get condemned, and this will be a 2nd kill for Colzer. As the 5th gen comes through. Both survivors are injured, however, so she might be thinking about slugging out and getting her 4K confirmed. Pops up above to this side. No buzzing from the end gate just yet, and that's because 2 survivors are up here healing. He only has eyes for Yeti right now. Yeti comes through with a stun. Morel probably going for the gate. Trying to get stages out the door. Now, it is all to play for. We've seen two very good sets from each of these. The YouTube team has taken the demo set. Twitch have taken the Sadako set. And now it is all to play for in our Trapper set. And what a great killer to have the tiebreaker on. Trapper can be lots of fun. We can play it a few different ways. Traps set up in a few bait spots or a few really sneaky traps. Those are giving Yeti the nutters, not opting for the Mori, instead just going to throw him on a hook. And that will secure the 10 hook stage. A good performance from Colzer, but just losing out on that set. We are going to the Trapper set. Well, we are gonna go again. We had Team YouTube win the Demogorgon set. We've seen Team Twitch win the Onryo set. Only one set remains. Our tiebreaker is happening. We're going to Dead Dog. We're going to see Trapper, and we're going to get a winner no matter what. Will it be Team Twitch? Will it be Team YouTube? Let's find out, and I hope you guys enjoy. All right, it is time for our tiebreaker set. We are in on the Trapper. We have PhD Luke up first, and since Trapper takes a wee while to set up, it gives me a chance to once again remind you to check out all of our amazing creators that have been involved in this. Every one of them deserves your follow, your sub, whatever they're after. Luke now just gonna trap up Shaq with a bit of an obvious trap after placing two very discreet ones. It's an interesting tactic on Trapper, and this is where you can see different bits of Trapper coming in. Some of your traps more obvious, could still catch people out because they've nowhere else to go. Others can be a bit more discreet and you'd be unsure of whether they're there or not. Cam immediately taking chase to a side of the map where the Trapper hasn't been yet, which is smart, but just a panic vault catches her out. And that's going to be our first down of the game. Survivors at the moment on the generators, on 3 different generators, but Kienrez comes through to interrupt Colzer. Luke immediately picks up a trap and heads on down the map once again. This is another one, and this is a big part of Trapper in early game, just getting set up, knowing where your traps are, pushing people towards them. And main, where they are running at the minute, is probably somewhere he doesn't want to be too much. However, he will get the traps up. We're seeing that Steve has undone one of his traps and took the injury for it. That'll be through the bloody coil add-on. It is one that we've allowed in our balancing, and it's a really good add-on for Trapper in general. He will go straight back to the unhook here to try and deny heal. I think he was about to run through that pallet before remembering, hang on, I have a trap there. Just checking around to see if somebody's nearby. Does hear the injured Steve and zones him by breaking this pallet as well, so this could be bad for Steve. It is. There's a down, a generator comes through, and we're getting our second hook onto the survivors. Pianrez gonna come through once again. Not sure which gen it hit, but we heard the scream that lets us know the survivors were definitely still on that gen. Shaq is completely trapped up now. It is not a place you want to be taking chase. The question is, will our survivors realize that, or will they still try to run it and get caught out with the 2 traps? Luke again opting to lift his trap and maybe going to take it and set it somewhere. He will catch out Colzer for a hit onto her. Still have Steve on hook. Now Luke trying to force Colzer away from the loop, and it's worked brilliantly by faking the trap placement. Gets the down. We now still have 1 survivor on hook. This is another one going onto a hook, and our remaining 2 survivors are somewhere on the map. Tom is doing gens. We have Annie going in for the save. Gets it onto Steve. Luke just looking towards the completed gen, maybe waiting for somebody coming across for the unhook, but instead decides to pressure the unhook that he knows just happened. Does have a trap in hand if he wants to shut down this loop. Annie playing it well. Will take a hit eventually though. Leaves herself with a pallet between her and the killer, but needs to find another substantial loop here. I don't think she will because the window in front of her has a trap on it. Luke waiting for the spin attempt before getting the down. He is also close to where he hooked Colzer earlier, so he doesn't want to pick up just yet. See Steve coming in the distance. We have got 2 generators done so far. Luke now instead gonna opt to lift another trap. He's got 2 in hand. Just watching across the front of Coulter. Goes to lift the trap, but doesn't realize he already has 2 in his hand. Unfortunately. I'm gonna trap up that loop. Steve did see him do it though. Running in, taking the hit, and heading on his way. We have Sable coming in for the unhook. That's Tam. Coulter takes a hit for Tam. And gets her a bit of distance, but I think she is going to get injured. No, Luke has decided against that. He's gonna instead go back now to try and lift Annie, but seems to have lost track of her for the time being. Up gets Annie right in front of him, and she's running towards a loop where the trap has been undone. That's the one that Steve did earlier. Luke's gonna pick up a trap, place it on this drop pallet instead of breaking. Good move from our trapper. That shuts down that loop entirely, and Coulter could be in trouble here. Down she goes on the pallet. Do we have a survivor in close to get the pallet save? We don't. And now Coulter will be thrown up onto a hook. However, she's already been pain res, so they don't have to worry about that. Steve now going to take chase towards me, and he knows now that this pallet is trapped and has to take it to another loop. He is going to run across in front of the trapper and go down through the window. Very, very strong start from Luke on the trapper. This is really impressive stuff. Remember, Luke actually a spirit main. However, Team YouTube have their own trapper main in for this, so they'll be feeling very confident going into their killer game. They will, however, want to get a few more gens done in that time. Then I have Colzer fully healed and on death hook. The vault somehow came in over that trap, but the one in Shack pallet has not been seen by Tam. Despite her having boil over here, she will still make it to the hook, I believe. Colzer trying to take a bit of aggro to maybe get a hit and stop the hook coming in, but no. Annie, having no hooks, has decided to use 4 of the people on Steve, which is a good call. 2 of their 3 survivors on death hook now are fully healed. The other one is on hook, which is a worry. Luke did adjust that trap to try and stop them now from vaulting over it. However, it does mean it's open from the inside to take that loop again. I don't know if he realizes that, but we'll see if that comes into play later on in the game. He is just watching this hook, maybe trying to see out this kill. It would be a good move at a time like now. I mean, you've got 3 gens left. Even if you lose another gen here, you'll be in a 3v1. You'll be sitting pretty. This middle gen is causing them problems because they just can't seem to get it done. Luke is keeping his eye on it. Steve's going in for the unhook. It might be a trade with Luke following him up. Firecracker comes in and the unhook doesn't. There's a lot of things trapped up here and a lot to worry about. Steve instead gonna head straight back towards main. Knows it's a strong loop to go to. We have our first death of the match, and it's gonna be Angel Girl Tam. Now here comes Colzer, who is another death hook survivor. She takes the hit on this loop. Luke's gonna run it. Fakes the reset in the trap. It caught Colzer out once. Will it catch her out again? It will. However, this trap is undone, and Colzer can't read this loop. Get a bit of distance now that Luke is resetting, and he is going to have to drop chase because he can hear a few generators lumping on behind him. Annie, though, has been caught in no man's land. Does manage to get the spin onto Luke to buy her team a bit more time, and he does eventually come in, get that down. He seems to be saving that pain res for later. Our other 2 survivors are on this main, or this mid gen, sorry. They've got it seriously pumping, and that'll be something Luke is aware of. Watch this Coulter run off into the distance before trying to put pressure on Steve, but it was a fake, and he's gonna come back now to kick the gen. We still have Annie on the floor. He seems to be choosing Annie as a slug out. Doesn't want to put any hook stages to her name just yet. He knows he's got both survivors in main. He could. He's telling them not to do that generator. He's very fond of that one. But he knows he's got the slug out behind him. He's got the 2 survivors on this side. He can deny them going and getting the pickup for as long as he can here. Coulter just faulting a few times, but still winning the 50s. Does manage to get away from Luke. Will probably go down on this window though. And does. Gives Steve time to go and maybe get the pickup on Annie. Annie is back on her feet. That's exactly what happened. This generator has no more progress. He really doesn't want them getting it. Steve has reset. And he'll know that it won't have been done too far from where he downed Annie previously. Now he's going to check around here. Here's the footsteps of Steve coming in behind him. Does almost get spun again, but this time manages to get a head away on the survivor. Steps in his own trap while going to get Coulter. This is pro trapper gameplay. Now, to be fair, Luke is absolutely smashing this so far. We'll allow him that one. Here's the hail going on upstairs on spots. The 2 of them gets through that window just in time to probably get it down on one. No, Coulter makes the window, and that's a really good pickup from the survivors, but Annie has managed to leave herself open. For the chase once again, tries to corner attack and goes down in the shack. Fortunately, no basement here this time, but she will go up on P and Res now, and finally it comes through onto a gen. We hear the scream of a Steve, and we know which generator it has hit. Is that a miss skill check on the middle gen? It is. That's not what you want right now. They really will be wanting to get another generator done here, or it could spell trouble. The unhook comes in on Steve. Annie trying to take the hit for him. Does a really good job body blocking. He's just going to wait out Annie's timer though and get the grab instead of the hit. That's very unlucky. And Annie, who had no hook stages, now suddenly has 2 in a very short space of time. Coulter going to leave this gen. This is the problem. They've got 2 generators with lots of progress right beside each other. A good fake from Luke to get himself back onto Steve. Instead, now going to go for Coulter. No, he's just keeping pressure between this gen and this hook, which he can absolutely do right now. We see a little moonwalk from Coulter as she makes her way away from that gen. And Luke is sitting pretty right now. He can just sit between the gen and the hook and just know that those 2 survivors need to find a way to reset or they're in trouble. Does see scratch marks coming in and knows that Coulter is making her way round for the reset on Luke, or on Steve. Luke does just spot the edge of Coulter there by that gen. He did indeed spot her, and he's now keeping pressure on those 2. We see Pebble come in over there, but Coulter was too focused on the Pebble and is gonna find herself on the floor. The unhook onto Annie does come through, but we're gonna see another death on the survivor side. The 2 of them now gonna double that generator in mid, but I don't know if they'll get it done in time. They won't. It doesn't have enough progress. Luke gonna chase Annie because he knows he has a lot of traps in this area. This is where he set up initially. But again, going back, making sure they don't get this middle gen. And he's playing this exactly right when he's got 2 generators with this much progress in the middle. They're not split at all. He should be pushing and pressurizing them constantly, which he is. Knows Annie has to be somewhere in the area. And will be looking to get that generator done. Refuses to kick that middle one again. Maybe just to leave it as a sort of bait for the survivors. We'll check around this side for Annie once more, or maybe just head off a little bit to come back to the gen once again. He seems to be doing this a lot, and it seems to be working. He's caught them out a few times. We now hear progress on me, and they're finally pressuring another gen. Steve just watching him through the window, giving him a wee bit of a nod, telling him, yeah, I know exactly what you're doing. However, Steve getting pushed round the place. Both windows on me and now trapped upstairs. And where did Steve go? Annie has been putting pressure on that gen yet again. But up to leave now. She'll want to take the killer as far away from that generator as she can. They really want to get that done. Annie steps in the very first trap we've seen placed in this trial. And that is going to be her dead. And remember, we know where Hatch is. So this is just if Steve can get the generator done before Hatch is closed or not. And I don't think he's going to be able to. Lucas played this extremely well. And we're going to see a 4K3 from the Trapper. There we go. That gen closes. Luke has no ed, but will not need it as Steve is already injured. Steve telling him, no, you're going to come up here and you're going to chase me. I'm not coming down to you. They're trying to win the mind game here, trying to get Steve to drop down. Luke standing in his own trap for the second time this trial. We'll not let him forget about that one. The head-on comes through from Steve. And then the trap comes through from Luke. And a little bit of fun from the survivor and killer right at the end. It is going to be a 4K3. It's a tough ask for our killer player on the YouTube side, but we'll see what happens. We're getting a Mori over the edge. We love to see it. Did a great shot of Trapper's feet there for any of you foot fetishists out there. But now we go into the second game. We see what Frenchie can do for the YouTube team, and we see if they can pull it all the way back. All right, Trapper set number 2. It's all to play for. The survivors will be looking to get 3 gens done to take the win, and Frenchie on our Trapper will be looking to deny that. Luke straight away looking to take chase, and probably a good call because it means you're getting chase where the Trapper has not put down many traps yet. However, Frenchie is instead going to put a trap on that window. Has bloody coil, but I'm not sure why it hasn't shown up in the bottom left. So that'll come in clutch whenever they start undoing the traps. We do hear gem progress already. Okay, there's our add-ons there now. Apparently they were hidden until one of them exposed themselves. Gets a quick kick on that and is going to throw down another trap, I would imagine, or reset this one in shack. Those there around here will be weary of gens more than anything. He does not want to lose those. 3 gens is not a lot to lose for this to go, and we've already lost one of them with just the injury on Luke from undoing the trap. Does spot Morel over in the corner and will up chase. Not too much setup from Frenchie yet, but a good chase here would mean he doesn't really need it. He wants to get that pressure on as soon as possible. And the builds were pre-picked, that's why you see no ed here, despite it obviously not helping towards the build or the win condition. Let's see what Frenchie can do here. We'll have to pick this gen and heads towards main. Doesn't seem to be any progress on main gen, but we see a fast fault or maybe a missed skill check over to the left. And of course, you've always got Yeti running around with Pebble, so it could be that too. Sadako hopping out that window and getting a little bit of distance from Frenchie and heading towards this pallet. Stun did come through and Frenchie breaks before continuing chase. Will he continue on or will he try and look to gens again? No, he's going to go through main, head back to where he knows they've been working on a gen and try and stop them getting that one complete. This time they've been doubling it, however, and there is a lot of progress on this. Frenchie going to kick it as another gen across the map comes through. That is our tie condition. One more generator and these survivors take it, and with no hook stages gained yet, it's looking very good for them. Luke now going to play this pallet at the front of main. Frenchie going to shut off the loop by putting down a trap. And Luke is forced to leave. There goes the third gen. There is the win for Team Twitch's survivors. Now we play this game out and see how it goes. What can they achieve, or what can Frenchie achieve against them? Luke, very patient with his vault, does eventually go through it. Down goes the flashbang, but it will get no value as Frenchie turns away from it. Heads back towards main. Is going to step in his own trap. We've seen that from both killers now. It must just be a pro trapper thing. We'll head upstairs now. Gonna break the door on me and make me a lot easier for the trapper to loot. Another trap gets undone at the front. Pick this generator. Knows one of them's got to be nearby. They've put progress on that and it's probably snuck off. There is progress from Sadako. Progress from Morel. Yeti was hiding on me and has just got back to that. And Luke is now doubling Gallows with Sadako. Nope, actually here's Sadako. He's doubling that with Morel. Sadako's in chase with the killer. Gonna take him towards Water Tower, or towards the loop beside Water Tower actually. Should make this pallet. It does make this pallet. Stun comes through. 4th gen gets done. And now Frenchie going to opt to leave this again. Does see Yeti on me and Jen. We'll head towards it. This trap has been undone so we can walk straight through it this time. Gonna go up the stairs and around, and Yeti will have snuck off into his usual hiding spot, will he? We see the scratch marks this time. Yeti's been spotted. We can see him inside, up at the top of the stairs. We're gonna kick this, me and Jen, and head round to get him. Nope, we're actually gonna put a trap here, make sure he can't get through that door. And then we're gonna go back for Luke, who is now fully healed. And playing the short side of this loop. Nope, dropping the pallet. They're having a bit of a stare off now. Having a bit of fun. The blind comes through on Frenchie. Noed is active as the last gen gets complete. I think Frenchie, yep, he's back going again. Breaks the pallet. And the chase comes in on Luke again. Frenchie with a wee bit extra speed from Noed. The drop down from Luke is going to get him killed. And that will be our first hook of the game. Solid result for the survivors. A solid win for Team Twitch. But we will be getting a hook with Frenchie here. And a face cam for Luke's troubles. I think Team YouTube might be happy enough to take this and get out. Or will they go in and look for Noed? Morel seems to be searching for it on main. Got Luke on the hook. Yeti searching around the outside of the map. Sadako is nearby and does go down to Noed. And that's 2 survivors down. Sadako is within distance of the gate here if she wants to make it out. A trap comes in onto Yeti right over on Water Tower. That'll be another down. Very good late game pressure from Frenchie here. I think Morel is just cutting her losses, opening that gate and maybe trying to get out. Sadako is already out. Yeti's making his way towards there. Morel just standing and staring. Frenchie staring back at her. And yeah, this is gonna be game, I believe. Morel actually seems to be trying to sneak in to do something. I suppose as many, if you can take a lot of stages out the gate, it would be nice. You know, if you could get that last survivor off the hook. I don't think it's gonna happen, but for a few extra points, Morel's gonna cleanse Noed. Frenchie happy to secure the kill here. Yeti obviously is on the floor, just on the edge of the exit gate. Morel gets rid of Noed. Surely there couldn't be a late attempt here, could there? Does try the pebble play, but is instead gonna get Frenchie to swing, come in for the unhook. It will be a trade, and it will be extra stages for Frenchie. Yeti still lying on the ground. Luke now gonna take the endurance hit, make his way out the gate. And that will be the 5 stages for Frenchie. Or will it? Are they gonna make a play here? It all depends on the killer. He should be coming to push them out any second now. And he is. This will be the 5 stages for Frenchie. A solid result against a very good team of survivors. Yeti gonna make his way out, and Morel has managed to get herself off hook. And it's not gonna be 5 stages at all, or is it? The insurance hit comes through. Morel now trying to follow our killer, but he is off on his travels. Maybe to find Hatch. So there we have it. Team Twitch are your champions. Make sure and hit that like button if you enjoyed. If we get enough likes or I get enough interest in this sort of thing, I might do it again. Maybe with Twitch taking on another platform like TikTok. Or if you want to see me run it back between Team Twitch, Team YouTube, maybe with some new faces, let me know in the comments below. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one.